Good morning, everyone. Hope you guys had a great weekend and are in for a fabulous week. This morning, I wanted to talk a little bit about a connection I made in the last week or so. So stay with me and you'll see how it's all connected. About a week ago, I was at my youngest son's cross country race, and he's been working really hard to go sub 17 minutes on his 5K, which is 3.1 miles. And last season, he ran a 17:01. That was his PR, his best race, and he couldn't break that 17-minute mark. So, a little frustrated leaving his junior year, not quite doing it. So, trained all summer, ate right, slept right, did his workouts, um, you know, did all the right things, went to his trainings, did his own training, worked really hard, had a plan, and stuck with it. And the race he had, not the weekend we just had, the weekend before, he finally did it. He ran a 16:41 um, up in Jacksonville, Florida. Was super excited. It was such a relief for him. And as I was watching him cross that finish line and watching him celebrate afterwards and watching his teammates cheer him and just be happy for him, it just dawned on me that he had put so much work into this. He had worked so hard. He stayed the course even when he didn't feel like it. And he did all the right things. He avoided the junk food that he knew would not be good for his body. He got enough sleep. So, I mean, he still had fun with friends, but he balanced it and got himself sleep when he had practice the next morning. He went to his practices. He did his workouts. He checked off all the boxes of the things he needed to do in his plan to reach this level. So you're probably thinking, what does that have to do with mental health or depression? Let me get to it. Um, while I was watching him and seeing him succeed, it dawned on me that he had a plan and he followed that plan. And then when his time came for that race, this is his third season in cross country. So in a way, it's been 2.5 years in the making. Um, and he worked with it and planned, and he stuck with that plan, and he prepared for the race. So when he had that opportunity, when he was at the right race with the good conditions, he was able to go out there and handle it and attack it. And that's a lot like my depression. Maybe it's a lot like your anxiety or whatever it is you live with, whatever mental illness or mental health struggles you have. We can't just sit back and wait for them to flare up. We can't just sit back and think they're just going to go away. We can't just sit back and hope that our depression never comes back again. Because if your depression has come back more than once, chances are it's going to keep coming back. Like if you look like me and live with chronic depression or chronic anxiety, one of my other sons lives with anxiety, and we have just realized there are things that we have to do and practices we have to implement so that when our depression, our anxiety, our OCD, or whatever it is gets bad, we are stronger already and we are prepared for it. We are ready for it. So, in a lot of ways, it was like preparing for this race for my youngest son, right? He wasn't racing every day. He wasn't going for a personal best every day. For most of the year, he wasn't racing long distance. He does track in the spring, but that's 1 or 2 miles, not 3.1. In the summer, he's not really racing. He did one 5K in July on the off season, but for the most part, he was just training. So it's not like he's racing every day for this perfect race, right? And that's a lot like when we live with depression. We're not I mean, if you are depressed every day, you really need to see a doctor or a professional, right? To at least get some help to get to the point where you can start to help yourself. Because sometimes we do get so crippled or so, I don't know if crippled's the right word, or even if it's a good word to use now, but so um, just debilitated. Maybe that's a better word. We're so debilitated that we aren't able to function or help ourselves. And that's when you really need to seek professional help. But if you are able to function, I take my Zymbalta, so I do see a doctor. Um, But there, even with that, just a pill isn't enough for most of us. We really need to have a plan, and we need to have a training program in a way, like a runner does, right? My son has his training program for his races to get a PR, to get faster, to get better. I have a training program for my depression to keep myself stronger, to keep myself healthier, so that when life throws things at me, or when I just wake up, sometimes I just wake up and bam, I'm depressed. I don't even know why. Like there could be nothing going on in my life wrong. And I wake up like I feel like I have 100 pounds just sitting on my chest and my legs and my brain, and I just can't function. Um, and it's in those moments that my preparation pays off, right? It's in those moments that because I've been eating right, because I've been exercising, because I've been doing my meditation, because I do my journaling, that I have those tools ready to go. So when I'm feeling that way, I know what I still need to do in my training for my best mental health. Does that make sense? So when we're feeling okay and when we're able to, that's when we need to be training, right? So we need to be training for our depression, training for our mental health, um, on the off season, if you want to call it. Um, I don't really want to know if we have a season for depression, but in a way, life is a season. There's different seasons in life, and sometimes we struggle and sometimes we're doing well. So my point of all this is we need to be training every day for our best mental health. And then when we have those bad days, we are stronger and ready to bounce back faster. So just like my son this past weekend, his race did not go the way he wanted. All right. So he went from super high, getting a PR, great race, to going back to his old PR. He was not happy, but he knew what he needed to do to get back up there. So he's been training extra hard this week, tweaked his diet a little bit this week, getting some more sleep this week, knows what to do. Same goes for my depression. And that's where I kind of made that connection, watching him train for his cross country, watching him train for his races, realize that a lot of what he does is what I do for my depression. Um, so I've talked about some of the things I are must do's for me. Um, Exercise. I've got my walking clothes on now. I'm going to go take a walk in a few minutes as soon as I'm done this video. I try to walk, and that's one thing I haven't been doing the past week and a half. I'll be honest. I slacked on my exercise, but exercise is key to me. And I realized the other day as I was feeling kind of rough, I'm like, what is going on? What am I doing wrong? It's because I haven't been exercising. Um, Eating right. I have got to eat a healthy, whole food, plant-based diet. If I go off the whole food plant-based diet, eat a lot of processed food, eat a lot of sugars, dairy, not only does it flare my fibromyalgia, it flares my depression. Um, make sure I get enough sleep. I don't do well on short sleep. Get sun. I have to get out and get that fresh air. I do my journaling every day. I try to meditate most days. I don't meditate every day, but even if I can meditate just for a minute, that helps. So all that self-care, I make sure I take a day where I have some self-care, whether it's an at-home pedicure or just watching some TV, reading a book, whatever it is, sitting out on my porch. I have to take care of myself. And that's been a big adjustment over the years as I've realized as each year goes by how important that is to managing my depression. Because I'm the kind of person who really just wants to keep going. I watch all these people who go, 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 and they get things done and they succeed and they move forward faster. And I want to be like that, right? And it took me years, I mean, most of my life to accept that that's just not how my brain works. And that's okay, right? It's okay if we don't work like everybody else. What's important is learning how you work and using yourself to the best of your ability. And what can you do to reach the best of your ability on a daily basis? And that comes with daily training, daily exercise, daily planning, right? So when we get to that race, for us, it's not usually something as exciting as a race. It's more of oh my God, I can't function, I'm so depressed, or oh my God, I can't breathe, I'm so anxious. That's our competition in a way. We are competing against the depression. We are competing against the anxiety. So we can win against it. And that takes training. It takes training, it takes practice, it takes daily discipline um, to be strong when that moment comes. So when our time comes and when we need to be stronger and healthier to get over that latest hurdle, get over that latest hump of whatever it is you're going through, it helps to be prepared. So that is kind of where my connection makes. I hope I'm making it okay. Um, so my son trains for his race, trains on the off season, even when there's not a race coming up. And then when that race comes, he's prepared, he's ready, he's healthy, he's stronger, he can go. Same with our depression. I may not be depressed for another week. I may not be depressed for another month or 2 months. Who knows? Maybe even longer. That'd be amazing. But what I know is in the last 10 years, since I finally started treating my depression like the chronic illness it is for me, when I finally started accepting that this is part of who I am and that it doesn't have to control me, but I can learn to control it to the point where it doesn't win, then I realized that I had to train for it. So I started attacking it like I did my marathon training. I ran 2 marathons before I had to stop for physical reasons. So I started putting that same practice in that I would train for anything else. I didn't really connect it until this past week, but that's basically what I did. Um, so I started eating right, stopped the junk food. I started making sure I got sleep. I started doing a morning routine that includes some journaling and meditation. And what I realized is that the more I treated my body like a temple, like they say, right? Treat your body like a temple. It's the only body you have, that the stronger my mind was getting. And each time my depression came, it was shorter in time. So where I would sometimes stay depressed for weeks on end, I'd maybe just be depressed for a few days. Um, maybe a week. Also, the intensity started being less, right? So, where I had times where I couldn't get out of bed, those days were less and less. Or even if I was depressed, could still get up and function minimally, meaning I could make sure my kids got what they needed. Everybody got where they wanted to go. I was able to at least get to work, that kind of thing. And I started realizing over the years as I kept this, the stronger I was getting, the healthier my mind was getting, and the healthier my body was getting. So the point is, when we live with a chronic mental illness, whether it's depression or anxiety or whatever it may be for you, those are the two I mentioned. They're the most I'm most familiar with. And I do focus mostly on depression because that's my own personal experience, and I feel I have the most to give for that. So with my depression, I treat it like an ongoing event that I'm training for. And the gold medal for me, the win, is getting through it faster, getting through it with it being less severe, getting through it with being able to function and know that I can be bounced back. And just knowing when it comes, I know it's not going to stick around very long. I know it's going to go away. I know it's going to get better. I know things always improve because I know what I need to do. So like I said, I do my journaling, I do my exercise, I eat right, all things that I've talked about on my blog, endingstigmatogether.com, and I've talked about in some of these videos. But finding what works for you is what is so important. So write down your own training program, right? Sit and write down what helps you. What do you know helps you? Is it getting outside? Is it eating right? Is it getting enough sleep? Find some things that help you. And if you don't know, start with eating right. All right. Get rid of the processed foods, get rid of the high sugar foods. They're all bad for us. And sometimes it's what we crave. So I started eating more healthy carbohydrates. I love potatoes. Um, I eat a lot of couscous. I do still love the carbs. I need that for my brain, but I got rid of the processed ones. So start eating healthy. Get out for a walk or sit outside or do some yoga. Start moving your body every day. Just even if it's just 15, 20 minutes, it goes so far. I'm going to make up um, a little list of things that I'll post later on my blog, um, a little guide, so to speak, to help you work through what helps you. I'll get that downloaded tonight on my blog and just maybe go through it and look at it and see what will help you and come up with your own plan to help you with your depression. So that's all I have for you today. Just remember, we're running this race of life together. The better we train, the better we will be for it. The faster we can go, the stronger we're going to feel. But we have to put some of the work in to it too, right? Olympians don't win gold medals by sitting on the sofa and hoping they're going to get faster. We're also not going to win our gold medal if we think our depression is just going to get better and we're just waiting for it to get better. We have to do some of the work too. Um, and seeing a therapist, taking medication are two pieces of that puzzle, but there's really so much more we have to do. And that's something that took me years to really learn. I thought if I went to a therapist and took antidepressants, that's all I need to do. And I realized that there's really so much more we have to do to make ourselves the healthiest we can be and the strongest we can be. So until next week, hopefully next week. I know I missed last week, but do the best I can. So hopefully next Monday I'll have something else for you guys here on the video. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. I would appreciate it. And let me know, leave a comment. Let me know if this is helpful and what you may want to hear from me. I'll talk to you later. Again, my blog's endingstigmatogether.com. Check it out a little bit later this evening. I'll have something there for you. Bye.